Hey, what's up, guys? Trevor James here, bringing you another deck profile. The profile that I have for you guys today is actually for Magic. I don't think I've ever shown off a Magic deck on my channel, so this would be the first. I got back into Magic about 2 years ago, and I've been playing it a lot ever since. I kind of stopped a little bit, but I got a bunch more friends at my work that are playing, so it's really fun to just take to work and play my friends. This deck is the deck that I built when I got back into it. I basically researched it for a while and then finally built it. So basically what it is it's quick burn. I built this deck to devastate my opponent with heavy damage as fast as possible. So for the most part, this deck can usually beat my opponent in about 6 to 7 turns. So it's pretty quick, pretty crazy. My opponent, unless they've got really strong stuff to stop it as quick as possible, this deck is going to most likely shut them down unless they're running like a counter deck or something. So without further ado, guys, let's show you guys my deck. So to get the big meaty stuff out of the way, I run a lot of mana. Actually, not really that much mana. I run 20 Mountain, all kinds of different versions of the Mountain and stuff like that. And, you know, just standard Mountain. If I didn't have the red mana, I wouldn't be able to use anything in my deck. So, getting to the creatures, I run 4 Vexing Devil. This guy is nuts. He's fairly expensive, but he's totally worth it because what he does, he only costs 1 mana to make, so he's only 1 red mana. I bring him out, and my opponent basically chooses if they want to take 4 damage and kill it right away, or if they want to let it stay on the field. It's a 4/3, so bringing this out on first or second turn is most likely going to devastate my opponent, so they're going to most likely kill it, which means I'm dealing 4 damage to them right off the bat. Next up, for another 1, I run 2 Spark Elemental. This is basically just a 3/1 creature. When I play it, it automatically has Trample and Haste, so I go in for an attack, and then at the end of the turn it dies. So it's basically just dealing 3 damage to my opponent really quickly. Then I run its brother, Hellspark Elemental, which is basically just like Spark Elemental, except it also has the Unearth ability. So I can basically have it die at the end of my turn, and then unearth it, bring it back, and go in for another attack the next turn. So it's pretty crazy. It does quite a lot of damage when it comes to that. Next up, I run 4 Keldon Marauder. This thing is pretty fun, basically. It only costs 2. My deck is very, very much on the less costly side, so most of my cards don't really cost a lot to make. So Keldon Marauders, when it does, it enters the field, my opponent takes 1 damage, and it also has Vanishing 2, so in 2 turns, it would leave the field, and my opponent would take 1 more damage when it leaves the field. So it's basically what it does. It's also a 3/3, so it's a pretty strong card for just 2 mana. Getting into my instants, I have 4 Lightning Bolts. Everybody that plays Magic has to know what a Lightning Bolt is. Basically, I just play 1 mana, and or tap 1 mana, and then deal 3 damage to my opponent, or deal 3 damage to their creature. Great card. Next, I run 4 Skullcrack. This guy I started running in my deck after I was running into a lot of people with Lifelink and other healing cards. So basically, I'll play it on my opponent's turn because it's an instant. They can't heal during that turn, and they'll also take 3 damage. So it's really fun to use against them. Next up, I run 4 Searing Blaze. This is a card that it's really weak if you do not have what it needs to use it. So it only does 1 damage to my opponent and 1 damage to their creature. But if I played a Mountain that turn, then they actually take 3 damage and their creature takes 3 damage. So most likely I'm usually killing the creature and dealing 3 damage to my opponent. Really amazing card if you have Landfall. Coming into my sorceries, I have 4 Lava Spikes. It's basically just like Lightning Bolt, except I can't hit the creature, I can only hit the opponent. I also run 4 Rift Bolts. This is just a simple card. It would normally cost me 3, so it would be one of my most heavy in terms of cost, but it also has the ability to suspend. So if I don't want to actually use the standard effect, then I will just pay 1 mana. It will be suspended for 1 turn, and then coming the next turn, it'll hit my opponent for 3 damage. So I don't ever use its first, the actual cost. I always use the suspend, unless I can afford the actual cost and want to deal 3 damage to my opponent. And then I run to Lava Axe. Lava Axe is such a costly card that I just don't like to run a lot of it. I only run 2. And at first I didn't even run any. But sometimes my opponent will be left with like 5 health left, and I have no way to hit them because I've used like a bunch of stuff up. So that's where Lava Axe would come in, and it would win me the game. And then speaking of win me the game, this is my ending card, Shrine of Burning Rage. That's the only artifact that I run. It's basically a bomb when it hits the field. So I'll play it. It'll cost 2 mana to play. When I play it, every time I use a red spell or I draw a card at the beginning of my upkeep, it'll get a counter. So every single time any red card activates, besides obviously my mana, or anytime I draw during my upkeep, it'll get a counter. I can tap it and pay 3 mana to sacrifice it and deal my opponent damage to as many counters that were on it. So for the most part, this thing usually gets to about 8 to 9 counters in literally just a few turns because of all the cards that I play, and of course all my upkeeps and stuff like that. So this is the ending card. It'll kill my opponent and usually get me a victory. So yeah, guys, that is my deck. Let me know what you think. It's a really fun deck to play. It's just really quick, really fun. It's very good for like beginners. So if I ever want to like teach my friends how to play Magic, I'll let them use this deck, and they'll learn pretty quickly how it works and also learn how ridiculous Burn can be. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.